Hey now, guys, it's me. It's Knockout 21. How are y'all doing today? I I'm still a little frustrated with still a little frustrated. I'm still a little frustrated with Dragon Quest 3. Um, but I don't know. I'll probably get back to playing that sometime soon. However, I felt like what? I got more Super Nintendo games. Let me play them. I spent a good long time, backing them up and spent enough money, you know, getting this FX Pack Pro, so might as well do it. And I have to tell you guys, it really does bring me back to my youth playing these games. Um, what? Okay, so I'm an old guy. uh, and most of these games I played when I was in Japanese. The I, yes, that's do the trade. Okay, a lot of these games, I can't tell you how popular Street Fighter was. It was like everywhere. There was a Street Fighter 2 machine, and every other business around me when I was a kid. The, the no joke, the ice cream shop that I would go to as a kid had a Street Fighter Champion Edition machine. The laundromat had like two different Street Fighter machines, Turbo and Super. Then there was a Street Fighter One machine at at like a grocery store near my school, and these things were always there was always someone dropping coin on these things, and that's how popular it was. Now, I, people couldn't wait. People could not wait to people could not wait to play Street Fighter. No joke. That's why I see a lot of if anyone that goes to retro stores and that deals with imports, you're always gonna find Street Fighter 2 like all the time. I've been tempted to get one, but I'm like I already have this. Oh, playing a little sloppily. Get over there. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay, but there were a lot of Super Famicom cartridges, and the reason why is because this game people would just import. There was no copy protection on the Super Nintendos except for like two plastic tabs that could be ripped off, and and that was how I played Street Fighter, well, regular and Turbo. That they were hold on, wait, okay, hold on. There we go. Three hit combo. Okay, so people will buy them right away. Like like my brother's friend was the one that had the Super Nintendo, right? And he just shows up one day with Street Fighter 2, along with the Super Nintendo, just to kind of show off. There we go. And the cartridge was not what was just like, I guess, Ryu's face or something. And that was it. That's all it was. And I gotta tell you, it was beautiful. It was, I you know, of course, at the time I was already a little older. I could spot the differences between the arcade and the Super Nintendo, but the idea of playing this thing at home, and this was way before the Super, well, like 6 months before the Super Nintendo one was launched. And sure enough, like I would tell my friends about it, like, oh, I played Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo, and they wouldn't believe me. And I have to say, no, 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 it's a different cartridge. It's like it's like the Japanese Street Fighter 2. Oh, and I don't know. I having to explain imports to my classmates, that was kind of that was a strange concept because you know, some of them they didn't really understand that that the Japanese had one style of cartridge and the Americans had a different. Either way, it worked. And this particular version, Turbo, this is how I first experienced what was a Japanese copy. Man, if you guys are wondering, yes, I am using an arcade stick. I'm using the Brooks wireless adapter thing. I should probably get another one. Man. And that's pretty much how it was. Um, Damn, my flash king didn't come out. And there was this one time when, like, well, it's strange is I started seeing actual arcade units in Japanese. Um, that, and that was like in the mid 90s. Like the Street Fighter popularity was going down a little bit. Like I think people were already kind of tired with Super Street Fighter or Street Fighter 2 in general, and they wanted a they either wanted a sequel or something different. It was around the alpha time when I think I saw Alpha 1 in Japanese first in arcades. And I wish I would have talked to the arcade operator, but after looking at some things, uh, for arcade operators, Street Fighter was so much of a draw that they would actually import Japanese arcade boards. The only problem is that you couldn't really you couldn't really go to Capcom to get that. You couldn't go to Capcom if your arcade board needed like maintenance or something. And there's a whole suicide battery debacle. But at the time, some of these arcade operators they were importing the Japanese arcade boards. Damn. Oh, why? Oh my god. Just basic. Man, I was talking to Chris about this when about it because sure enough, sure enough, these arcade operators they must have been like there we go must be must have been paying a pretty penny just to just to like import a game that that won't have any warranty or support. But I guess it was making that much money that they were doing it. Oh man. Oh, there we go. Man, Street Fighter was all over the place. This game really does take me back when when those when hyper fighting was brought over to this 360. I was happy as hell. I would go online all the time on that game, and not finding. Haha. There we go. Haha. That's how it's done, you know. You know, man, Balrog. Oh, th- th- seen those two girls in bikinis in the background? Always, always bug me. And the Genesis version always bugged me because like the Super Nintendo ones, they're like they both wear two different colors, and and like in a Super Nintendo I had two different colors, and in a Genesis one they only had one, and it's always kind of like a proof that the Genesis couldn't do as many colors as the Super Nintendo. That always did bug me. It always did. I was like, oh my, why couldn't squeeze out one more color out of there? Oh, come on. Oh man, that sucks. I thought I had it too. Oh, really? Where's my flag? Oh, really? Flash kick. Yeah. Here we go. Thailand. Ah, my kick didn't come out fast enough. All right. I think it's time to tell you guys about an event I went to. Well, it wasn't really an event. It's oh, it's called the Sega. It was a Sega pop-up store. It basically sold a lot of Sega related merchandise and some Hatsune Miku towels and stuff like that. And I was a little amped up for it, but when I saw like some of the event, I'm being on the defensive. Oh, 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 great! So strong, so quick. When when it was first announced, it came up through my Facebook. I saw it and I was thinking, oh, that looks pretty cool. But when they were like a pan around of what the concept of the store was going to be, what kind of merchandise, I knew that it was it was not the way that I would have liked it. And the reason why is because well, it was very Japanese focused. As you guys know, I'm a old school Sega fan. I oh jeez, I like my Genesis. I like my Comic Zone, my Eternal Champions, my Shinobi, my Fantasy Star. I like old school Sega, you know, and some of the newer stuff like Jet Set Radio and Skies of Arcadia. But truth be told, it's it's not what you know, I kind of expected it not being what I wanted, but I still went anyway because there was a few things, and you know went out to get something to eat. Oh, damn! Just like that, get something to eat, just spend have a nice time out. And I get there, and there's like very little that I want. I ended up getting a Game Gear mug and a teacup, which I've only been using it to drink whiskey out of, but a teacup um that has all the listed it has all the listed Sega consoles, right? And then I got me like a sticker. Everything else was Yakuza, Persona, Sonic, and Hatsune Miku. And I'm like, all right, I'm not really into the Yakuza series, or it's called Like a Dragon. I don't know. I think I like Yakuza better. Oh, really? Damn. I forgot how hard bicycle can be sometimes. I was watching. I'm at the store, and I'm looking around. And I'm really trying hard to find something I like, and it was only those two mugs, or that teacup and um. Oh man, and that's all I found. And I was like, the one Sega's definitely changed a lot since I was a kid. I mean, big time. Their they have all these franchises that they do not take advantage of, right? Um, Granted, Shinobi's coming back, but that's just one. And you could forget about anything American they've ever made. Like, Eternal Champions doesn't exist at all. And, you know, Eternal Champions and Trojam and Earl doesn't really exist. Ah, damn. In their minds, they're like, yeah, we don't know, we don't care about that. For we got other things. Oh, I I, I swear to God, this guy's ruining my button presses. Ah, I thought that would have gotten him. So I'll go there. I'm hoping that I could find some fantasy. Honestly, Fantasy Star Online 2 is somewhat successful. Like, that people still use it. I'm hoping to maybe find some Fantasy Star Online 2 like decals or something. Ah, jeez. Get over there. Oh. Ah. This guy's really frustrating me. And no, there's nothing like that. There was no Jet Set Radio stuff either. Get over there. Come on. So there's nothing like that. I sworn I flashed there. Whew. And I didn't know. I did not really see anything at that store that interested me all that much. It would have been, and there was no Genesis thing. They had. Oh my God! Why is it giving me so much trouble? Well, it was nice to see that Sega has some new stuff, but I it is a little disappointing. Streets of Rage 4 came out. I don't know. I would have liked to have gotten oh, a Shiva shirt or something. Like, oh, great. Damn. Sometimes you just gotta attack at random to get this guy. Oh man. He always tries extra hard after I beat him after one round. Oh my God, I thought he was gonna jump. I really thought he was gonna jump. It's terrible, terrible. But nah, that Sega story. It was a lot of people lined up, and and I was happy. It was a bittersweet because I was happy to see that Sega has a new set of fans. Everyone was asking for like Shadow plushies, and and there were a lot of people checking out the Persona and Yakuza stuff. But me, I'm like I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for like some older stuff. Seriously, some older stuff like you know, and the fact that they called they're having like they had Mega Drive shirts and and jackets and stuff, but they didn't have anything Genesis. And I'm thinking, yep, yeah, yeah. When I saw that, I was like, okay, well, it's to be expected. It was, you know, it was in Little Tokyo, but that just kind of proves that times have changed, and uh, oh, come on, hold on, let me just concentrate beating this guy. Oh no! Yeah. Oh my God, that was not what I wanted to do. Oh, come on! No! Oh my God! Finally, Jesus! I would have been so pissed off if he won. if you beat me there. How I would have, I guess these franchises aren't popular anymore. You know, it's like the legacy Sega is leaving behind is of one of constant change. Sega Lord X, a guy that I consistently watch, he was on the Sega Guys podcast, and he stated that every time there's a new console generation, Sega would like put the reset button on all their franchises. And on everything, so you wouldn't get anything. And I was really thinking about that. Like, yeah, that is kind of true. That is kind of true. What the thing that really because going from the Master System to the Genesis, there was a couple of things there that made me stick with, well, that made me enjoy the Genesis. One being that Alex Kidd had a Genesis appearance. It wasn't a very good one. No offense to Ryoko Kodama, who did, I think, worked on the art on that. Here, let's see if we get another. Let's pick another game. Let's see. Oh wait. Let's put some alpha. No. Well, I got this arcade thing. Like, yeah, there was Alex Kidd, Shinobi to Revenge of Shinobi, like a couple of things that they did on Shinobi on the Master System carried over to Revenge of Shinobi, so it was like a bit of a progression. Um, then there was Phantasy Star to Phantasy Star 2, and there was those, and of course the whole Sega arcade kind of thing, where they were, you know, Sega was getting was putting ports on both consoles, so there was like this a better merger. But when it came from the Genesis to the Sega Saturn, there was hardly anything there, and that's what upset a lot of the Sega faithful. I'm not sure if I said this in my Sega Saturn video, but there was very little I wanted on the Saturn. Um, uh, let's go pick a Kuma. There was very little I wanted on the Saturn, and I thought, here, this is what I thought when I first saw the Saturn. You know, I was very blown away by the stuff I was looking at. Okay, yeah, it works. Uh, right, I was blown away by Virtua Fighter, by Panzer Dragoon, even by Daytona, and but at the same time, I was thinking I wonder how this game is gonna look. When I saw Astal, when I saw Astal at the time, I was playing Comic Zone, right? First, I played Comic Zone and I liked it because of the art style, the atmosphere, the fact that they were trying to put like a comic book setting into a video game, and it was fun. And to me, it worked. Now, at the same time, like shortly thereafter, um, I saw Astal, and I saw this beautifully animated, wonderfully drawn um, setting. This this the the background looked like a painting, and there was voice acting, and had this really wonderful atmosphere, and it just made me think like, oh my god, this is, if this is how 2D is gonna look on a Saturn. I started imagining, and in my head I was thinking, oh, I can't wait to see how the next Comic Zone is gonna look. Like, I literally thought that. Imagine how much better Comic Zone is gonna look, right? I was a big fan of Streets of Rage, and me thinking the next Streets of Rage is gonna be something like, I think I was thinking of a Virtua Fighter remix. Like the next Streets of Rage is gonna be like Virtua Fighter remix, but you're gonna be able to walk around in the city. And I was having thoughts like that, and then I was thinking the new Fantasy Star is gonna have people talking, like the new Fantasy Star is gonna have people talking. And it was just this one thing after another. I was just basically hyping myself up, on this stuff, right? Um, I just want to see if I can link those, but none of that came to pass, right? Um, I saw these. I saw what was gonna be Streets of Rage 4, which eventually ended up being which eventually ended up being a Fighting Force, which is not a bad game, you know. Oh, really? I want to pull that off. And it was not, you know. Now, I think I mentioned this in my video, but I was having this thoughts in my head about all these games that were going to come out. There was never ever an announcement that they were going to be coming out. I just had these thoughts in my head, and eventually, I changed schools. My brother's friend joins the military. He goes away, and my brother goes to like school, and like everything, like all everywhere what I get my information from was gone. Even magazines, because the magazines were never mine. You know, and the last issue I had of EGM, I think was like a September issue. I'm not too sure, but all this stuff goes away, and I just have these thoughts in my head, that not knowing that they're gone, right? Not knowing that Sega is changing priorities. Um, they never even had an idea, or they never even considered, you know, an Eternal Champions, or they considered Eternal Champions still. It got canceled, but they never even considered a Comic Zone or a Streets of Rage or anything like that. They wanted to do their own Japanese focused arcade mentality, which didn't work out in the end. It just didn't. It just didn't, and that's pretty much the reason why the Saturn failed. And the guys at Sega America never wanted to work on a Saturn, which I can understand. They wanted to work on better hardware. They must have already seen some of this hardware at work, either on PC or somewhere else, and they wanted some of that. Really, there you go. And they wanted that for the Saturn, but it never came to be. It just never came to be. And Sega of Japan or Sega of America had to really just, you know, get those development kits and then just really spend time on them. Like really, really work it, really understand it, so they can at least try something. Mr. Bones and Three Angry Dwarfs. They're they're okay games and all. Bug too, but Bug wasn't bad at all. I like doing that. And and they just have to understand they got to make games. Oh man, but still the lost potential. If you couldn't do a 3D game, at least do a 2D one. Oh, like in my head, I was thinking of the next com. I don't know why I was thinking this. I for sure thought that was gonna come out, but I guess I like Comic Zone so much that I really thought there was gonna be a second one. And I was thinking about the next Comic Zone where there'll be more animation, the and the other enemies from other panels will be jumping in. What? Oh, I hate when this happens. Hold on. It's not my fault. It happens sometimes. It seems to happen when I'm playing an MSU1 settings. All right, right, enough, enough. Uh, let's go with Chun Li. There we go. Oh, oh, damn! I was so close to the end too. Really? That was fun, man. It was it. You know, when I finally got a PS2 and then like started seeing what was going on with Sega, it was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. It was like what happened to all these games I was waiting for? You know, Sonic and Sonic Extreme being canceled. You know, really, why am I having trouble all of a sudden? Oh wow, that was pathetic. And against Dan, so embarrassed, so embarrassed. No, 1, 2, 3. It really took a, you know, and seeing the Saturn at that state. Oh my God, this was all in early '98. And when I got my PlayStation, I wanted to see what the Saturn had, and it was very. First, it was shocking. Um, you're probably thinking, well, didn't you notice that there was nothing on the retail shelves? No, I didn't notice. At the time, there was really little reason for me to leave the house, and so like the mid, so all through middle school, uh, I had one friend, but but he wasn't the video gamey type. He was more into comic books. So we would just talk about Spawn and stuff like that. Um, but going back to high school, I made a couple of friends that are into video games, and then I get my PlayStation, and truth be told, man, truth be told, I see this, and I was like, well, what happened to Sega in the past 2 years? I, I go to, I don't know if it was a Toys R Us or a Target, probably a Target, and there's this one tiny 4 foot section, and there's hardly any merchandise there, right? It's a bunch of like bunch of sports games, and one Saturn unit in the bottom, and then like you know, and then like you know, my brother's friend like he comes back and he for visiting, and I ask him what was going on with the Saturdays. Is not doing too good. A lot of the a lot of the good stuff is in Japan. Like Japan, like this is the States. This is America. And sure enough, uh, man, it really did suck at first. But I heard about like when I heard about the Dreamcast, I'm thinking like, well, maybe Sega could come back, and I hear about all these projects they're working on, um, and the people that worked on Fantasy Star, they're making something new, and I'm like, oh hell yeah! And I guess Shinobi, they're working on something new. It's all this stuff, and I'm like all these guys that worked on the Genesis games that I liked, they're making something, right? Even Toe Jam and Earl 3, what was gonna come out on the Dreamcast. And there you go. I was like, this could work. This is gonna be fun. Oh man. Oh. Oh man. The Saturn was only ever popular in Japan. Sega went all out in Japan and didn't really do much here. What eventually made me get a Saturn was basically what you're looking at right now. I After the 360 launch, uh, there was all these compilations showing up on a PS2, and at that point I already had a PS2, so so it was all good, right? And I see all these compilations coming out. I was like, oh, I remember these games from the laundromat, from the liquor store, from the grocery store, from the arcade. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm gonna. In my head, I'm thinking, um, I'm finally gonna be able to get Super Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter, uh, or all the Street Fighter alphas in one go, and that was not the case, man. Like, they're good compilations. They're good compilations, but there was all these, but there was certain things that it felt like there was something between me and the game. There was something in between us that I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Like when I was playing like Super Turbo and Alpha 3 and Alpha 2. Oh, surprised me with that, didn't you? Really? Oh, barely. I felt like there was always something in between me and the game whenever I played those fighting games and on those PS2 compilations. Like certain button presses wouldn't go. There was like this ugly filter, and just didn't like it didn't feel 100% right, you know. Oh, and I'm not sure if you guys remember this website, shoryuken.com. I think I went on there, then I went on GameFAQs to see like if anything's wrong with these games. And sure enough, I find out it's emulation. A lot of people are finding issues with how was implemented, and that the Saturn version of some of these titles play better. And that was the general consensus, that either the Saturn version, you know, either was close to exactly or better than the arcade. That was always what I was hearing. That and me, who loves fighting games, I'm like, well, I gotta check this out. I gotta investigate uh, what's going on here. And yeah, sure enough, yeah, that's after reading that, after reading a couple of reviews, I'm like, well, if this is the case, I might as well get me a Saturn, you know, and you know, and I played. I think at the time I was playing Marvel versus Capcom 2 on the Dreamcast, right? And I was playing Marvel versus Capcom 2. Uh, and I was like, I want to play X-Men versus Street Fighter, right? And I know there was one for the PlayStation, but I also knew that there was one for the Saturn. And the first time I heard about the Saturn version being better than the PlayStation was with X-Men vs. Street Fighter. But I knew that was Japanese. And I had to somehow. I was thinking, well, I'm probably gonna have to get a Japanese unit. Um, but there's also a couple American games I want to play. I forgot what. Who knows? I know it's because I think I had a copy of Virtua Fighter Remix that was left over, and and stuff, and I was like, well, I might as well, I was thinking, well, I'm gonna have to go ahead and get I'm gonna have to go ahead and get a Japanese unit, which I was at the time I wasn't really buying a lot of stuff on eBay or anything like that. I was going around mom and pop stores, looking for a Japanese Saturn. Um, but but then I heard about the Action Replay, that you could play import games on your American Saturn if you have an Action Replay, and you can even play like stuff like Alpha 3 and X Men versus Street Fighter without the RAM card, because the Action Replay doubles as a RAM card. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is probably a good idea. Let me do that. Let me buy a Saturn and an Action Replay, and then X Men versus Street Fighter, and that was it. That was my first game. That was my first. That was my first game, and my first and my first Saturn, like less than $60. Oh, 60, like less than $80. I had. I've already bought like everything I need, and then at that point I knew that after looking at the library, looking at the SNK games, looking at the Capcom games, and then knowing what I like, that most of my games were probably going to be end up being Japanese. And sure enough, that's how it is. Like like the amount of Saturn games I have is like the Japanese is 2 to 1. Most of them 2D fighters. Let's try. Where's Fatal Fury? Cause why not? Garudan Setsu. Okay, well, this will be the last. I promise. This will be the last fighting game, and then I'll put my control. There he is. Kim Cap One. Who's the most annoying? I'm gonna go for my first. The thing I just finished. I, damn, I have this on a lot of different systems. Oh, oh God. I can tell you right now, on a Genesis, has more accurate sprites sizes. Oh, I came close to getting this on the Sega Saturn, but I'm like, not the Sega Saturn, the Sega CD, but it's so damn expensive, and like, no. I have this on the Game Gear, which is missing a lot of stuff. I have it. I have this on the Super Nintendo. Did it reset again? Oh man, and that wasn't even on MSU. Let's see, I got the Neo Geo cartridge of this. I got this on Super Nintendo. I got this on Xbox 360, and I got this on a Game Gear. And I came close to getting it on the Sega CD and on the PC Engine CD. Um, it I should just get them all just and then compare them. I remain undefeated on the on the Xbox 360 version. I only ever played it against three people, and then people stopped playing it. Like, oh, the online code on that was so bad. Like, oh my god, so terrible. Those for some reason, whenever I see Duck King, I always thought that was like spoof of Vanilla Ice. Like I really did. Like I don't know why. I just kept as a kid. I always thought like Duck King is supposed to be making fun of Vanilla Ice, but I don't, you know, but Vanilla Ice never dressed anything like that, did he? Like a like orange hoodie and sweatpants. I'm, oh, I do hope they bring Duck King back and in a new oh, it's not coming out. Oh. Man, Duck King as Vanilla. Vanilla Ice as Duck King. You know, apart when I heard that Street Fighter characters were gonna make an appearance on Garo Mark of the Wolves, I was really hoping for Jury to make an appearance. Like one of my dream matches is of like Kim Cap Hwan. Ah, like one of my dream matches is Kim Cap Hwan versus Jury Han. It really is like thinking like that'd be so cool. You know, that'd be so cool. Like Kim Cap Hwan versus Jury Han. It'll be awesome. You know, like Taekwondo practitioners and one stands for justice, others is a psycho is a psycho killer and they both have like oh what happened to you, Big Bear? Look at that walk. Oh wow, that what was Takar thinking? Oh, oh, gotcha. You know, considering the hardware, I gotta assume that this game couldn't have been easy to port over. I wonder how much of the because I could tell the game logic's there. It does play very close to the arcade, but damn, couldn't get my super to come out. Because in case you guys didn't know, the SNES architecture is vastly different from what the Neo Geo was using. The Neo Geo had similar chips. I had a Motorola 68 processor, uh, and a whole lot of RAM. But I I gotta assume that it was easier to port Fatal Fury 2 on the Genesis as than it was to port Fatal Fury Special on the Super Nintendo. Oh, you have to be so precise with this. I do have to tell you that the computer isn't as cheesy. I said try to do a flash kick there, but have to remember timing and stuff is very different in this. Hmm. Hmm. You see, the main issue, or you could tell there's only uh, really. Ah, damn. The main issue probably porting this over, is the fact that from what I understand, from what I understand, the SNK is able to do so many different sprites, right? And sometimes some of the backgrounds aren't even like backgrounds at all. They're just sprites all kind of strung together. And I gotta imagine some of these levels that utilize that many sprites to make a background had to basically be either redrawn or copy pasted as chunks of background. And some a task like that must have been very difficult. When I first heard that, I'm like thinking, "Oh my god, that like oh the Neo Geo only has like two backgrounds of theirs. It doesn't have that many. Two, but how did they able to pull that off? Oh, it's nothing but sprites. They just fill the entire screen with sprites. Finding out the fact that the Neo Geo was a sprite pushing machine, I was like, oh wow, that's rough. Oh, oh man, I forgot you Jubei was messed up. Let's see, there's a bit of a lack of parallax scrolling in the background. I'm guessing because it's part of the oh, oh, come on. Oh, the spinning pile. Well, was it Izuna drop? The spinning Izuna drop. Of course, I want to continue. That was when I first played Ninja Gaiden uh, on the original Xbox. It was so hard, very very hard. I don't know how I was able to beat that game. Oh, right. And when I discovered how to do the Izuna drop, that was it. I was like, because when you drop down, all the enemies like they fly back, and I was doing Izuna drops out the wazoo because it was the only way I could survive in that game. Anything else, any other tactic will was result me getting my ass handed to me by demons and other ninjas and and mutant soldiers. Haha. There's Kim Kids. Now this is the one thing I did not like. I think this is more of a limitation on the Super Nintendo because the Genesis one didn't do that. But there will be guys in the background. Ah, now there will be motorcycle riders going between the two fighting planes. Oh, come on! I'll try to do my flash kick. cross up. Okay, let's play a different Super Nintendo game. No. Yeah, where is it? Hold on, my button here. Let me just switch out my adapters. Plug in Super Nintendo control. There we go. All right. I would like to show you some of this stuff, but um, something I've been playing with. Like uh, I looked how to make MSC1 videos on the Super Nintendo, and I just a couple of music videos. They get out of sync near the end, but they work. It's just that the music I'm pretty sure is copyrighted. Uh, all right, let's see. Hmm. Wait, there it is. I know I had it somewhere. Really? Simon Gradwell. Oh, I can't go in there. The first time I played this game, it was on the Genesis, and there were only two characters, Billy and Camacho. Then I think a few years later, I saw it at a arcade in one of the supermarkets that I saw it in this arcade in one of the supermarkets my parents would go to. Oh, really? And I saw the extra characters, and I'm like thinking, like, oh man, the Genesis version got robbed. And then a couple of years, and then like a couple of years later, after I bought a Super Nintendo for myself, this game was. I saw there was a lot more stuff cut out. Oh man, it's gonna be tough. Ah, wait, where's the slide? Oh, it's a dedicated slide button. Oh my god, I forgot about that. So then I see this. There was a Super Nintendo version. I don't know. I think I find it like on Game Facts or something, and I find out that it's much more close to the arcade. I'm like, oh, we got robbed. I'm surprised Konami never made an arcade collection. Like everyone had, like Data East had an arcade collection. Oh, really? Okay. All right, let's just play another game. Let's see. You know what? Huh. Let's try. I would really like to play Lady Stalker, but there hasn't been a translation of that yet. I do put my phone up. Kirby's Avalanche. I do put my phone up against the TV to see what everyone's saying, but it's a very it's a pain in the ass. Okay, nothing about that. To think, all this came about this came about from a game where the devil wants to marry a 6 year old, I guess. It was a what was the name of that game? Maduro something or other. There was some mistranslation in that. Okay, I could tell this is being very, very boring. I don't. Ah, it doesn't even matter. Yay, okay. Let's go to another game, no? Let's see. Hmm. Very. Hmm. I want to play something that's very distinctive to the Super Nintendo. F Zero. Because why not? You know, um, I was thinking back to, geez, I was thinking back to when I would play F Zero GX and AX and whatnot, and finding out that it was using the Super Monkey Ball engine that was created by Amusement Vision and Sega. And then and I'm thinking like Nintendo could never republish that game, right? I'm thinking like even though they have the copyright to even though they have the copyright to the F Zero, like, oh, great. Oh, that's so unfair. Even though they have the copyright to the F Zero license, that game code belongs to Sega. I'm pretty sure if they asked, they're probably very willing to. I'm pretty sure Sega's probably willing to license out that the game code for like a remake or a port or something, you know. I always always hated this part. I hate these drones. Oh, Captain Falcon. Oh, I'm stuck at fourth place now. All right, all right, all right. You know, I what I don't understand was how what was the point? Like, I look at F Zero, right? You see the track, you see you see all the like the drones and the racers. The background there scrolls really nice, and I'm thinking like, why would jeez. Uh, damn. I'm thinking, why would Nintendo ever make Mario Kart only half the screen? It baffles the mind. I never understood that. Did they think it was too much like F Zero if it came out like that? Granted, the gameplay similarities might still be there, but Mario Kart had a lot more going on. Why can't I just use the entire screen? Uh, Terrible, terrible. Oh, really? And I got these drones. Oh, get away from me. These drones really knock you back. And I just saw Captain Falcon. Where'd he go? There he is. Oh, no. This thing counts as a racer? And I got... Oh, just don't get in front of me. Oh, really? Who is this guy? So, oh, this Captain Falcon is right. He's right there. Ah, jeez. What? Oh, I'm moving to the side, aren't I? Oh, what? Are you kidding me? Gonna hit one of those dash panels. What? Oh my God. Oh. Okay, let's play something else. Let's see. You know what? Oh yeah, I don't have Yoshi Cookie on this thing. Uh, let's play Mortal Kombat 2 by Sculptured Software. Acclaim Entertainment. I would really like to know the story of how Acclaim lost the license for between Mortal Kombat 2 to 3. I would really, yeah, that's something that seemed kind of suspicious to me. Like they've done 1 and 2, why not 3? Ha ha ha. Liu Kang wins. Really? I, I I also got to know what made Howard Lincoln cave. Oh, my kick didn't come off fast enough. That's all I know for Liu Kang. It's like I gotta tell you, Mortal Kombat was big, almost as big as, oh, pretty much bigger than Street Fighter Two in some respects. And finding out that oh, finding out that there was like no blood in the first Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo, that was one thing, that was one argument we could win against the Super Nintendo guys. I remember. Right? And that was because Howard Lincoln was like, you got to sanitize the first Mortal Kombat. My guess is like, this is my guess. My guess is that when they were beaten badly by the Genesis version, Nintendo of Japan saw that and told Howard Lincoln, do not make the same mistake. I was gonna punch. He probably didn't want to like get embarrassed again, so he left blood in for Mortal Kombat 2. Although I do have to point out that this game does not play arcade accurate. Like the speed is off somehow. Although it could, although it's cheesy, it's almost as cheesy as arcade. But like the speed is off. The how fast the attacks come out, that's off too. Really. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. I got some stuff to have to take care of. But thank you guys for watching. Just all two of you. I'll try to stream again later today, if possible. Um, I, I just needed to get I needed to get a little distressed from a Dragon Quest 3. It's just one of those things where it's like it's where it was a little surprising to find out that there's still more to go, and after being frustrated like that, it wasn't fun. But I'm close to the end of that game. Uh, I'm, but also I'm trying to I'm reviewing a game that's incredibly difficult for a lot of wrong reasons, and it's really affecting the score of this game. Anyway, uh, I'll catch y'all later. Take care, guys.